Hey there, sorcerers! You might notice this week that Briar has a different voice. From now on, Briar will be voiced by Sasha Cifuentes. Stay tuned after the episode for a sneak peek at the Soulmate Quest.
Long ago, the world was at war. But then the 10 dragons arrived and changed everything. They brought peace to the world and gave us the gift of magic. Those who can use that magic are called sorcerers. But that is about to change. My name is Nova, and this is the story of how I became the first Warlock. Warlock, Episode 32. Forge Your Heart. Training begins.
The first light of dawn spilled over the Temple of the Storm, casting long shadows across its ancient stonework. As the sky burned gold and crimson, Class Red stirred, rousing from their rest to begin their first day of training. Orion had summoned Nova, Ren, and Krysha to the forge, but so far, only Ren and Krysha had arrived. Kaida lay curled near the edge of the forge, her tail flicking lazily as she dozed.
I wonder if we'll learn how to do flaming punches right away, or maybe start with something simpler.
If it's anything like what I've done before, it'll be endless drills. But I guess they work.
Hey, you seen Twinkles this morning?
It kills me that you call her Twinkles.
Yeah, you know, the whole, star power thing or whatever.
No, it's cute. She's kind of like a puppy, so it makes sense you'd give her a puppy name.
Not sure if that was meant as an insult, but I'm taking it as a compliment.
Nova appeared, slowly walking towards the duo sitting on a stone bench. She attempted to mask how difficult it was for her to move, but with little luck.
Hey, you made it! I'm impressed you're walking around so quickly.
Morning, Twinkles. No, I don't like that.
Ooh, yeah, it's kind of a Ren-only thing.
I guess I can just call you...
Ravenwood! Nice of you to join us this morning.
Oh, hell yeah! How about a 3-on-1 sparring match? I think we can take you.
All right, let's get to work. Everyone grab an apron. They're on the wall over there.
Huh? What for?
You're helping me clean the forge. It's been a while since I've used it, and I want this room spotless.
And then what?
And then... we forge.
And what about our training?
Relax, you're like a kobold in heat this morning. This is part of the training.
Makes sense. I doubt it's just gonna be us punching each other all day. Also, gross.
The punching comes later. First, we prepare ourselves. Now hurry up, the day is already ahead of us.
With a reluctant sigh, they set to work cleaning the forge. Dust and ash swirled in the air as they cleaned out the remnants of past projects. Ren and Krysha worked quickly, but Nova, still sluggish from fatigue, barely managed to sweep a small section before the others had nearly finished.
Ren, Krysha, come here. Nova, you keep sweeping.
Okay.
We're gonna work on reforging your sword, Mouse Girl. Plus, it'll be a good way to help you learn the fundamentals of using spirit energy.
Orion grabbed a large, reinforced chest and hauled it onto the workbench with ease. The hinges creaked as he opened it, revealing a carefully organized collection of gleaming brass, bronze, and copper plates. Each compartment held meticulously sorted materials, but one stood out. A lone black dragon scale, tucked away in its own space.
Are those... scales?
Very perceptive. One of the most important factors in forging is using the right material. If you use weak metals, your sword won't do you any good. Dragon scales are strong and light, and each color provides a different quality. Your sword will be using some of my scales.
What do your scales do?
My scales are almost indestructible, so imbuing that quality into your sword would keep it sharp and strong for centuries before needing repairs.
So, even if I blocked against another blade that was, 10 times more powerful, it wouldn't break?
A hit like that might break your arm, but not the sword.
You only got one black scale left. Why don't you ask the Black Dragon for more?
I would, but he died.
Oh. Sorry.
It's all right, you didn't know. He was a mighty warrior, and my friend, though I don't mind talking about him. Stubborn as an owl bear, but he was a hell of a blacksmith. Taught me everything I knew. He founded Cinderfall, and honestly, I'm glad he didn't live to see how it's become.
Nova stepped closer to the group, drawn in by the conversation.
Can we ask what happened?
When I say that Aurelius was strong, that's an understatement. Some of the weaker dragons, like Sylvana, are around level 20. But not her fault, mind you, she just wasn't a warrior. A dragon like me or Reyna? We're close to level 25. Aurelius was easily stronger than someone who could reach level 40.
Level 40? Can people even go up that high?
This diamond guy is certainly trying. Who knows how strong he is now? Leandro sacrificed his life to help us seal him into the Origins. We decided to keep his origin a secret from the world, never revealing his lineage to anyone. Seems safer that way. This last scale is how I remember him.
But your scales are metal. How could you use a non-metallic dragon scale in forging?
I'm guessing adding it to the metal can create an alloy that makes it stronger, like how we make steel to begin with.
You know your metallurgy. I'll figure out the perfect use for this last black scale for you all. We'll make sure it counts.
You sure that's okay? Using your last one on us?
Better than letting it gather dust in some old dragon's chest. He would have wanted you to have them. I mostly use mine anyway. The brass scales are handy if you need to add a little fire to your projects.
And what about the copper scales?
Those are the most pliable. You could make armor as flexible as clothing with those scales, and that's our next project. Let's finish this one first. Let's get the fire going, shall we?
Orion took a deep breath and exhaled a breath of fire into the forge. The flames blazed, reaching a white-hot intensity that made the room feel like an oven.
This heat is incredible!
Normally my breath is pure lightning, but by channeling spirit energy, I can unleash flames just as intense as the ones Reyna creates.
Oh, yes! I can't wait to breathe fire.
Orion carefully selected the bronze dragon scale from the chest. He held it up to the light.
First, we prepare the scales for the forge.
He walked over to the anvil, placing the scale down. Then, from behind the forge, he grabbed a huge metal hammer and struck the scale with a light tap. A deep, resonant sound echoed through the room with each hit.
Dragon scales are powerful, but they're stubborn. You have to coax them to merge with metal.
Next, Orion picked up Krysha's sword. He brought it to the anvil and placed it beside the scale. Holding the steel with one hand, he took a deep breath and exhaled, his dragon's fire igniting the coals beneath the forge. The heat rose quickly, the air shimmering as flames turned white-hot.
The key is control. Too much heat, and the scales will resist. Too little, and they won't bond with the steel.
Orion's hands moved deftly as he grabbed a pair of heavy tongs and placed the steel into the heart of the forge. The metal quickly began to glow. Once the steel was ready, Orion carefully placed the bronze scale into the forge, right beside the broken sword, allowing the flames to surround them both.
We'll let the fire soften them first. Then we can begin merging their strength into the blade.
He stepped back, watching the fire's intensity as the scales and steel began to change. The edge of the scale started to shimmer with a molten glow, and a faint black smoke curled up from the forge.
Now comes the tricky part. Blending the essence of the scales with the metal. This is where we forge the heart of the sword.
This is so amazing!
I gotta say, I've never been one to be into this kind of junk, but, I'm impressed.
You're up first, Ren.
For what?
Take the hammer and combine the two metals.
Ha! I think I can do that.
Ren stepped up to the forge beside Orion, who extended the handle of the massive hammer towards him. The moment Ren grasped it, the intense weight pulled the hammer down, crashing into the ground with a loud thud.
Holy hells! How much does this weigh?
About 200 pounds. Go on, give it a swing. Or are those muscles just for show?
Just for show? I'll show you.
With determination in his eyes, Ren gripped the hammer with both hands and attempted to swing it over his head towards the anvil where Orion held the heated steel in place. The effort was visible, but Ren couldn't quite get the hammer high enough to strike with the force he intended. His arms strained, and the hammer wavered awkwardly in the air. He brought it crashing down to the ground.
No offense, but let's skip Nova for this one. Krysha, you're up.
Hurtful, but fair.
Krysha gripped the hammer with her hand, took a deep breath, and using her entire body and momentum, she brought the hammer up above her head, bringing it down soundly on the sword.
Excellent! Do you see what you did wrong?
I guess I didn't lift it high enough.
Well, you didn't engage your whole body. Mist can be used to power your attacks even if you don't realize it. Or you got so used to mist while fighting, you didn't hone this skill. Krysha had to do this to compensate for her sword. By controlling your breathing and utilizing your entire body, you can fully access spirit energy. Now give it another try.
Ren grabbed the hammer again, squatting low to lift it high off the ground. Ren began to flex every muscle in his body to bring the dense hammer above his head. He swung down hard, missing the steel.
Better. Take a break. Krysha?
The two of them took turns with the hammer, with Ren slowly getting better at lifting it higher and striking where he wanted. After about an hour of hammering, sweat pouring down their faces, Ren and Krysha had made notable progress.
All right. I'll finish up here. You three take a break.
Oy. Damn, that was some workout. My whole body feels like it's gonna fall apart.
That probably means it's working.
I want to give it a try.
No, not yet. Once you can move freely with the armor on, you can join the rest of the training. This is your main priority. Actually, I do have something. Why don't you help me finish up while they take a break?
Got it. Just tell me what to do.
You're going to clean up.
Oh, man.
Meanwhile, the early morning light filtered through the towering trees as Briar and Amara stood in a secluded glade, far from the forge. The crisp air carried the scent of pine and damp earth, but there was tension in the stillness of the morning.
Ready?
I think so. But what if I can't control it?
That's exactly why we're here. This is your space, free from distractions. Don't think of it as something dangerous. Think of it as part of you. And just like your other abilities, you'll learn to guide it.
Amara's voice was calm, but Briar could still feel the heat of yesterday's outburst lingering inside her. She looked down at her hands, remembering the acorn turning to ash. Her fingers flexed, already itching to summon the flame again, though part of her feared what might happen.
It felt so different from everything else. The fire. It wasn't like the life I normally feel with my legacy. It was wild. Chaotic.
Fire is as much a part of nature as anything else. It's not just destruction, it's transformation. Sometimes things need to burn before they can grow stronger. You've been holding back, but now we are going to tap into that fire without fear.
Amara gestured to the bare patch of earth at their feet, and Briar narrowed her eyes in concentration. She knelt, pressing her hand against it. Vines began to sprout, coiling upwards.
See? This. I understand this.
Good. Now, summon the flame, but don't fight it. Invite it, like you would invite life with your legacy.
Briar hesitated, the fear of losing control creeping into her thoughts. But she trusted Amara. She closed her eyes, feeling the primordial energy coursing through her, and this time she didn't resist the flicker of heat building deep within. Slowly, she opened her hand, and a small, controlled flame danced into existence in her palm. Unlike the fire from the day before, this flame was calm and steady.
There you go. Now, use that flame not to destroy, but to nurture.
Briar looked at the small vines she had summoned. She focused on the fire in her hand, and instead of allowing it to burn uncontrollably, she carefully placed the flame near the base of the vine. As the fire touched the earth, something remarkable happened. The vines didn't wither or turn to ash. Instead, they pulsed with energy and began to grow stronger, thicker, flourishing underneath the warmth of the controlled flame.
I did it. I didn't destroy anything.
Exactly. Fire isn't your enemy, Briar. It's your tool. And now that you know how to control it, we'll build on this.
I want to be stronger, Amara. Stronger than I've ever been. I don't just want to catch up. I want to surpass everything I thought I could be.
And you will. But strength doesn't come just from power. It comes from understanding when to use it and when to hold back. Remember that. Now, let's try and go bigger.
The forge's heat had finally begun to die down as Orion hammered the last few strikes into place. Krysha, Ren, and Nova had gathered around, watching him work. Orion raised the sword, holding it into the light. The newly forged blade gleamed with a polished edge.
Whoa, that's incredible!
I've never seen anything like it.
Orion extended the blade's handle towards Krysha, who hesitated for a moment before taking it. Her remaining hand wrapped around the handle, and as soon as she did, she felt the weight of the sword, balanced perfectly for her. Krysha tested the weight, taking a few swings. The blade sliced through the air with ease.
Oh, look at that! Those training dummies better watch out.
It suits you perfectly, Krysha.
You outdid yourself, Orion.
You know, you could be even stronger. With 2 arms.
What?
You're right-handed. I can tell by the way you move your body when you swing the hammer. It's subtle, but I can tell. If you want, I could forge you a new arm. An arm strong enough to keep up with you.
Krysha's grip tightened on the sword as she considered his offer. The thought of having another arm, stronger than before, stirred a mix of emotions in her.
I don't need a second arm to be strong.
No doubt in my mind that you're already strong, Krysha. But you'd be faster, stronger. You've already proven you can handle yourself. This just gives you an edge.
Krysha looked down at the sword in her hand. For a moment, doubt crept in, but she pushed it aside.
I'll think about it. But for now, I want to see what I can do with this.
Fair enough.
Krysha gave the sword one last swing before slipping it into a sheath on her back.
Thank you, Orion.
You're gonna be slicing through bad guys in no time. I can't wait to see it in action.
Me too. You're going to be incredible with that sword.
I'm already incredible with it.
The offer stands. You just let me know.
Krysha gave him a smile, but her mind was already considering his offer more carefully.
I'm a blacksmith. I never see anything as being broken. They just need a little fire to make them stronger than before. Ren, I've got something for you too.
Look, I'm not really a sword guy, but I guess I'm willing to learn.
Well, I'm not giving you anything sharp. Here, I reworked some dragon steel fabric I had laying around. Try these for your arm wraps.
Orion tossed Ren a roll of dragon steel wraps. He removed his old bandages and wrapped them around his arms.
Huh. They feel exactly the same.
Krysha, attack Ren. Ren, block.
Without hesitation, Krysha brought her sword down on Ren. Without thinking, Ren brought both arms up in a cross block. The sword stopped in place.
Whoa! I didn't feel a thing.
Perfect! Now you two go spar. I need lunch.
Hey, you didn't need much convincing to swing a sword at me, huh?
I knew you'd block. Probably.
The pair went outside. Nova began clearing the ashes out of the forge while Orion ate.
You think I'm being tough on you, Nova. But I'm not.
No, I get it. I have a lot of catching up to do.
I haven't even begun to be tough on you. But take a break. Come eat something.
He offered Nova some food as they sat down together.
You know, you've seen my handiwork before.
Really? Where?
Zenith!
Zenith blinked into the room, flashing and chiming around Orion.
Oh, down, boy. It's good to see you, too.
So you created him? That's amazing! Let me guess, with gold scales.
Aurelius had the ability to create magic from nothing. He poured his essence into the origins. That's why part of him will always remain while they exist. His scales could do the same. But Zenith here is free from his influence.
He held Zenith briefly before letting him go, where he blinked back into the lady's pocket dimension.
Where he might grant you power, but he's Akashima's now. You must be on good terms with her for a gift of that magnitude.
We're getting there. It's been a rough journey.
Well, keep proving yourself to her. She's been through a lot. Imagine you woke up one day in chains, no end in sight to your imprisonment. Alone in a statue. A god without a domain.
Is Akashima that powerful? I didn't think you threw the god title around easily.
You have no idea. It took every ounce of Aurelius's strength to just contain her. All right, that's enough chit-chat. Back to work. Come with me.
The pair made their way to the winding stairs that led to the top of the temple's tower.
I want every surface in this tower dusted, got it?
All the way to the top?
All the way.
Damn it.
Let's go, Ravenwood. I'm right behind you.
Nova finished cleaning and reached the top of the tower, where she discovered a peculiar door. It resembled a piece of art, crafted from hundreds of small, colorful tiles arranged to form its shape. At the center, a stunning wolf's head was embedded into it.
This is beautiful.
It truly is. My art is more with metal, but I envy anyone that can work with something so meticulous as tiles.
Who made it?
Aurelius. He wasn't all terrible. Not all the time. There are times I miss him. Is that bad?
No. My best friend became a real jerk when we got older. She works for Foundation now. I miss her too.
Don't give up on her. I have a feeling she misses you too.
I don't know about that.
Only an individual can truly know what's in their own heart.
What's behind this door?
And that's for another time. Regardless, good work. Seems like you're adapting well to that armor.
I didn't even notice. You're right. I'm only a little tired after that.
Good. Now, I've got one more task for you all. Listen up. You've seen how to forge steel. Now I want the three of you to forge something together.
Ha! Piece of cake! We can do that.
We'll grab the box of smaller hammers. There's some headbands on top.
Ugh, I'm not really the headband type.
Oh, these are going over your eyes.
Our eyes? While we swing heavy hammers at each other?
Correct.
The three put their blindfolds on and prepared themselves.
Now, I want you each to take a hit at the metal on the anvil. But you can't hit in the same order. If Ren hits the metal followed by Krysha, the next time Ren hits, it has to be you, Nova.
As long as we figure out the pattern, we'll get it.
I will randomly hit the metal as well.
Never mind.
Let's do this.
Ren hit the metal first, but then Krysha and Nova swung at the same time, hitting each other's hammers.
Ouch.
Careful!
I could say the same to you.
Quiet, again.
They hit 3 times in succession, but suddenly Orion carefully hit the metal with his hammer. Ren and Nova came down at the same time.
So close.
There has got to be some kind of trick to this. Krysha, try.
Quiet! Again.
Of course he won't let us talk. Wait, it's not that he doesn't want us talking. It's that he wants us listening.
Nova took a moment to listen to the room around her, hearing the flame crackling in the hearth, the wind flowing past one of the windows, birds singing outside. All of the sounds that she had tuned out of her mind. The symphony was almost overwhelming. She took a deep breath to swing her hammer down, but suddenly, she heard another sharp breath from someone else in the circle. She stopped her hammer mid-swing as Ren's came down on the metal.
Impressive. She got onto that so quickly. She truly is a Ravenwood. Now, let's see if she can handle this.
As Nova listened to the others, she waited for the sound of breath and metal until it was her turn. As she prepared to bring her hammer down, she heard a sharp inhale, giving her pause. But no hammer rang out.
Orion must have realized that I'm listening for breaths. There must be some aspect I'm missing.
Nova took a deep breath, allowing her mind to softly focus on every sensation in the room. She could feel the heat from the fire, the small beads of sweat gathering on her forehead, and the feeling of air moving as Krysha brought her hammer down.
That's it. It's beyond just listening, but feeling.
Nova again waited until her turn to strike, where she lifted her hammer high. Orion again inhaled as Nova prepared to bring down the hammer, but he made no swing himself. Nova struck the metal with a resounding ring.
Yes, I knew it!
Blindfolds off! It seems I misjudged you, Ravenwood.
What the hells did you do? I expected to hit hammers any second.
Can we talk now?
Orion nodded to Nova.
It's not just about listening to each other, but feeling too.
What?
Oh, sensing the air moving around us, that kind of thing.
Oh, of course. Why didn't I think of that?
That's enough for today. Go get ready for dinner. You'll try again tomorrow.
The next day brought the same exercise, this time with heavier hammers. But we weren't dreading the grueling work. We were excited. Each day brought a new challenge. Sometimes the hammers were heavier. Sometimes we had to plug our ears. But each time, we were all about to focus on what mattered the most. Each other.
Haha, yeah, nice work.
Whew, that was close.
Again. Again. Again.
After a week of training, we'd crafted enough steel to help Orion repair sections of the temple that had fallen into disrepair. Each day, I could feel myself growing stronger. At night, as we lay down to rest, I'd often hear Ren and Orion working at the forge together. I assumed it was part of Ren's training, so I never asked questions, but I couldn't help but wonder if they were crafting something special for him. Meanwhile, Briar was making some incredible progress with Amara out in the woods.
Check this out.
Briar extended her hand, and a small, harmless flame danced around her entire arm, bouncing over to Nova.
Briar, this is incredible!
No wonder they call you a prodigy. You picked that up easy.
Nice work, Mosshead. Or should I start calling you Hothead?
You want me to singe your cape again, meathead?
Now, let's spar. Grab those headbands.
Are you sure it's a good idea to have Krysha blindfolded with a sword?
Better stay out of her way, then. Come at me with everything you've got. But no mist, Ravenwood.
They fought, each relying on subtle cues rather than sight. The scrape of a foot shifting, the whisper of a blade slicing through the air, or a quickened breath just before an attack. Nova caught the slight shift in Krysha's weight and adjusted, Ren timing his stance as he sensed Orion closing in. Movements fell in sync. each reacting to each other's rhythm. For the first time, they weren't just fighting as individuals. They moved together, a team anticipating each other without a single word.
Not bad, but your punches need more power. Back to the forge.
For the next week, we would spar with Orion all morning, take a break for lunch, and then forge for hours. My arms would feel like falling off by the end of the day, but I wasn't the only one noticing that I was getting stronger.
Oh, look at those biceps, Twinkles. You're finally getting some muscle.
Really? I mean, I feel a lot stronger than when we first got here. It's just hard to tell.
Maybe if you keep working out, you'll be where I was when we started this whole shebang.
Finally, one day, during our sparring match with Orion...
Wait, I can see.
Through the blindfold?
Yes! Well, no. I can see in my brain what is gonna happen. It's not super clear.
Took you long enough. Ren here has finally connected with spirit energy. Just barely.
Oh, this is incredible!
You've taken your first step in harnessing that energy. As you learn to see it more clearly, you'll be able to draw it into your body and shape it. Remember, you are part of that energy, like a river. Flow with it. Don't fight to stand against the rapids. Let's call it a day. Ren, go get dinner started. Ravenwood, clean the dining room.
You got it.
Orion, can we talk?
Of course.
You're right. I'd like you to make that arm for me.
No. I'm not going to forge it.
What? I didn't realize that offer was time sensitive.
You're all going to forge it.
The next day, all 4 students stood in the forge. Amara and Orion stood close by. Orion handed Krysha a bronze scale.
Here, use this.
Show them what you can do, Briar.
Briar held her palms towards the forge, concentrating all her energy towards it. With a flash of green in her eyes, the furnace swelled with fire, almost as hot as Orion's breath.
Briar, that was incredible!
I'm getting there. But thank you.
Remind me not to get on your bad side.
You 3 are up. Get to work.
You've seen what my student can do. Now, let me see what you 4 have been up to.
Just watch.
The 3 students began working the metal, hammering and shaping the steel mixed with the scale into the shapes needed for the arm. Orion would step in to help, using his knowledge and experience to shape some of the more complex pieces. Briar attempted to stay awake for the process, but the students worked well into the night and into the morning. As the sun began to rise,
Done!
Almost done. But first, put this on.
Krysha slipped the arm up to her shoulder, pressing it against her skin.
Am I supposed to feel like I've strapped a boulder to my shoulder?
Orion took a pouch off his belt and removed a small golden screw. He tightened it into the shoulder of the arm. Suddenly, the fingers of the metal arm began to move.
Krysha, look!
What the hells? I can feel that.
Now, how exactly is she doing that?
That screw. It must be made from gold scales.
It's what gives your arm its spark. Not enough to make it have a mind of its own, but enough to connect with you.
Thank you, Orion.
Thank your friends.
I'm not the best at this, but I haven't had a friend in a long time. And now I've got a bunch of them. So, thanks to all of you. This month is the happiest I've been in a long time.
Krysha, you're not just a friend. You're family.
Briar walked over to Krysha, a smile on her lips.
I can't imagine Class Red without you.
Ren, you're up.
Ren's up.
So, now that you got an extra arm and everything, well, not an extra arm, but 2 normal arms. Well, not that you weren't normal before, but...
Ren.
Sorry. I don't know why I can't talk right now.
Briar leaned closer to Nova.
That's a first.
Look, whatever. Here. We made this for you, Dish Ears.
Dish ears?
Ren grabbed a large piece of metal covered in a sheet over to the group. He pulled off the sheet, revealing a black metal shield.
It's anti-mist, so it'll block anything a sorcerer throws at you. Even attacks from that fancy pants sword guy.
Without a word, Krysha embraced Ren, tears in her eyes.
Thank you, Ren.
Krysha! Your arm!
Oops. Sorry, it's a very strong arm.
Look, I know you don't need help with anything. You're one of the strongest people I know. And you don't need any of us protecting you, but we will.
I can't wait to give these a try. I feel like I could fight an army of wielders right now.
Or
How about the four of you
fight the two of us.
Warlock, Episode 32, Forge Your Heart. Training begins. Nova is voiced by Claire Clausen. Ren by Nick Akins. Briar by Sasha Cifuentes. Krysha by Kate Oviles. Amara by Megan Massey Ware. Orion by Kyle Ware. Mendel by Zachary Burrell. Music and sound effects by Epidemic Sound. Special thanks to Wizards of the Coast. If you enjoy the show, please leave us a review on your preferred platform. Check us out at Warlock D&D on Blue Sky and Instagram. Thanks for listening.
Next time on Warlock, it's students versus teachers and a test of their growth. As summer blazes forward, Nova is summoned back to Cinderfall to finally meet with their headmaster. But will he give her the answers she seeks? Episode 33, The Council. Next time on Warlock.
Right. Defeating your godly dragon. On our own. Would you like anything else while we're at it?
Some respect, perhaps. Remember, Emma, the fate of our kingdoms lies in your hands.
Well, I'm Emma, and this is...
Jam.
Jam.
That's my name. I chose it, like Royla did.
Huh.
Well, don't you think it's stupid that we're born with our own names on our left hands? Why does T-Gut's magic get to decide what my name will be?
I don't know you. Having your not name on my right hand isn't gonna make me magically fall in love with you.
I can help you navigate the chasms of the Badlands.
But if we fight T-Gut, we will end up as just another magical notch on his belt. We don't stand a chance.
Yes, we do.
Go on, princess. Do what needs to be done.
We're kind of past the point of no return here.
Do you really want to spend the rest of your life hiding? This could change everything.
Listen to The Soulmate Quest wherever you get your podcasts.